Bath time. For many children, it's a fun or relaxing part of their day or bedtime routine, and it should be. But there are dangers. Here to make sure we're keeping baths fun and safe is Chrissy Catlett with Grand Strand Medical Center. Chrissy, thank you for being here. You brought toys, and I love that. So let's talk about, this is a tiny bathtub that goes inside of a bigger one, yes?
Yes.
And what is the purpose of that?
This is an infant or toddler bath. Obviously it's smaller. You can put smaller children in it, keep them safer, less chance of drowning. Before you give a toddler or an infant a bath, you want to make sure that you gather all of your supplies and have them ready. One of the reasons that people tend to leave children unattended in a bathtub would be because they forgot their towel or their soap and they need to go out and get it. And so having all your supplies first would be number one. So as your child grows and you're ready to move them from an infant bath to the regular bathtub, you would want to put a non-slit mat on the bottom so that they don't fall. Always encourage the child to stay seated in the bathtub. And then same thing that we're going to talk about with the infant bathtub, you're not going to fill it up with too much water.
Okay, and how much water would you recommend?
No more than 3 inches of water in the bathtub. Yeah, people sometimes want to fill it up high to keep their babies warm, but as long as you take your washcloth and soak it really good and put it across their belly, they'll stay plenty warm while they're in there.
But when they're older and they want to play and they want to start to play, you're saying don't stand, is there a gauge for that?
There's not any particular number. The biggest thing is that you want to never leave a child in the bath alone. You want to stay within arm's reach of them. You want to be right beside them the entire time that they're in the bath. Any amount of water is dangerous for a child. Children can drown in as little as 1 inch of water. So if they're around water, you want to make sure that you're right there with them.
Strangely, it makes me think, what about toilet seats and things like laundry rooms even? Is that something we need to make sure we're closing the door?
Closing doors, putting up gates, keeping children away from them, shutting lids on commodes. If you're not using a bucket or a bathtub, make sure that you are emptying it when you're done using it and then storing it where a child cannot get a hold of it.
Would you recommend parents learn CPR?
Absolutely. A lot of new parents, that's one of the things that we want to make sure before they leave the hospital that they absolutely know how to do CPR before they leave.
And then, so we're bathing the baby, and we want to make sure it has the right temperature, right? There's a trick to that.
Yes.
Lots of tips, right?
Yes. So number one is you never want your hot water heater set above 120 degrees. You want to make sure it's less than that. That'll help prevent scald injuries. You can test the water yourself. You can use your elbow or your wrist to test the water. And then they also make thermometers.
So we're going to slide on over here and we're going to talk about our temperature duck. That's what we're going to call them. I don't know if that's the technical term.
Sure. So
we have 3 different, we don't actually know what they are. So on the bottom, this is supposed to say hot if it's too hot. So let's see, let's start with this one. We're going to stick them in there. Whoop. Oh, and I can feel this water is really cold, so we're going to just say it's definitely too cold. And then let's see about this guy. Oh, it is too hot. Look at that. Well, this was a lot of fun. Chrissy Catlett, thank you so much for being here with some great bath safety tips.